and we got to do our intro. I just realized I don't have that in front of me. Hi, I'm Spencer.
And I'm Ripley.
This is the part where I say something about 6 years ago when we did...
What the fuck? You still didn't have it in front of you?
No. Okay. Let me open our Discord, which is where this is.
Take two, bro.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Spencer.
And I'm Ripley.
6 years ago, we tested this idea together with a playlist of 500 songs.
Now the playlist has grown, changed, and doubled in size, and I don't know all the tracks anymore.
So each episode, we listen to one or two songs from the updated playlist.
To see what stories, memories, and emotions they unlock. Two friends.
One playlist. This is HeartATrack.
Ew.
That's how you sounded.
Look awesome.
Oh, I might have some fun playing with the first take of that. Might be the first time I go, the music starts and then I'm like, yeah, it's something or other.
Yeah.
Anywho's.
Quality blooper reel stuff.
Yeah, kind of. We'll see if what makes it in and what doesn't. But welcome to HeartATrack, both to the listener and you as well, Ripley.
Yay.
I would say, how are you this evening? But I kind of already know because this is our first episode with Ripley's new laptop and microphone setup. So we hope you're experiencing some enhanced audio quality to a degree.
So much nicer. Big fat shout out to Sarah on the other side of the country. Here I am on the East Coast.
Right.
She's over on the West Coast. And she hooked me up with a laptop so that I could plug in this fancy microphone that Spencer recommended I grab for us to make this work. And she just pulled one from her workplace to get me set up without me spending $200. So thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, no kidding. Thanks, Sarah. We've never met, but deeply appreciate what you did. And Ripley, you scared me there. You said she pulled one from and then ... for a second. And I was like, but yeah.
Her butt.
I don't know.
I had to clean out the USB port. It was nasty.
Oh, damn. I'm sure she loved the shout out, and now she's like, I'm never listening to this again.
Well, wait a second. Why are all my best friends on other sides of the country or in completely different countries? I must smell like something, so...
Smell like something. Well, your laptop obviously does. But to change the name of this to HeartACrack. Anyway.
No!
Oh, my Lord. Well, any fun stories from last week to this week about things that were relevant to the songs or anything like that?
No, not in particular.
No. You never know, right? Like, Ripley and I, we have this thing we call the coincidence vortex, right?
Hey, don't we that shit, Kimosabi. The coincidence vortex is my thing. You're a guest in it sometimes.
Oh, okay. It's Ripley's thing. Sorry, I didn't realize it was a no Spencers allowed situation.
No, all visitors allowed.
But it's not.
I'm very possessive of the coincidence vortex.
Well, I guess I have my own as well because I know exactly what it is. Can you explain it real quick?
Just mad coincidences that are super, super specific. And happen in rapid succession, usually all crammed into one day, like weeks worth of coincidences crammed into one day all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it's just, I didn't mean that it only happens to me, surely, but I coined the coincidence vortex and used to joke about it, that it's a little contagious and I can have, one visitor at a time. And then I'll go, welcome to the coincidence vortex. Enjoy your stay. It usually lasts about 3 to 5 days.
Yeah.
And because I think what happens is I will start pointing out things that happen that are coincidence vortexy, and then other people start to notice them. And such is the nature of the beast. If you start looking for coincidences, you're gonna find them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. And that's why I said we at first, because I'm like, well, you share a lot when it's happening, and then I start going, wait a second, like, yeah, this and that. So the whole reason I asked was because you never know. We could have listened to Allison and Going to California, and then you go, oh my gosh, I heard both of them on the radio this week, or some crazy thing, you know?
Uh-huh.
So it wouldn't surprise me, is what I'm saying, with
Right.
the way we experience stuff back and forth. But yeah, we have one song this week, and I know Ripley was telling me that she was having a harder time finding her own song this week based on the queue. Did you end up finding something?
No, I decided that I'm either not going to have one this episode or figure one out after I hear your story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. No hardcore rush or supply and demand. We want the heart to pump out whatever song it feels is relevant. Mm-hmm. So, as I mentioned last week, I wanted to keep it. It's hard for me to keep it vague but also informative, right? Like, you don't want to be like, yeah, right, this is the song, like, you know, that I'm doing, because we want that element of surprise. But what I said last week was something in the ballpark of peer pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
In adolescence.
Yeah, that's right. Adolescent peer pressure. So, are you able to hop on YouTube then in order to play the song?
Sure. Let me figure that out.
Yeah, this is the only thing we didn't.
The setup's kind of different.
Yeah.
You're listening to HeartATrack, and your host will be right back.
So, Undone, the Sweater Song by Weezer from their 1994 debut album, The Blue Album. Some people just call it Weezer, some people call it The Blue Album. I like calling it The Blue Album.
I've heard it referred to as The Blue Album.
Yeah. Now, this is a song that I believe was on the original 500 that we did way back 6 years ago. Was that song super familiar to you, or do you have a story of where maybe you've heard it somewhere else before or anything like that?
It's familiar. I've heard it played at the warehouse from time to time. I think there's a Weezer fan or two in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, if there's any white guys, then yes, there are Weezer fans there. Oh. Like, guilty, wow. You know?
And I believe I do remember it from the original 500, which, do you remember my response to it on the original 500?
Oh, gosh. There's a handful that I do remember what we talked about, but I don't remember this one. Why,
well,
do you?
No.
Oh, it sounded like you were queuing up like, well, I remember saying this.
Nope, I specifically don't remember saying anything, and I don't remember if I told the story that came to mind this time. But let me let you tell your story of your connection first.
Sure, yeah. Well, another small note that I know we would have said, and it's possible that it was the first song on the original list that we said this about, or that I said this about. That song has what I like to refer to as a crash landing ending. Where
only this time it sounded like a slow torture of their instruments. Yeah.
I still classify it in my HeartATrack list as a song that has a crash landing ending. There will be many songs that have that, and I'll let you know this is a crash landing ending, because I love a song that my least favorite way a song can conclude is fading out. I'm just like, do something creative. And that's hypocritical, because there's going to be, and there already have been, songs on the playlist that do fade out. But it is my least favorite kind of ending. Whereas I really like an abrupt stop. That can be fun, but something like a crash landing ending where everything just sounds like it's falling down a flight of stairs or something. I'm like, oh, I love that. And you're right. This one's kind of got almost a haunting vibe to it as everything kind of slams and crashes and the piano gets banged on and all that. And maybe we'll visit.
Crash landing via instrument abuse.
Yeah.
As you hear the feedback and the piano get plucked a bit.
Yeah. It's almost like it gets punched, and then the very last thing you hear is just that little drop, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, and we can talk about the psychology of why I love that specific one when we get to the end. It feels wrong to start at the end, but I just wanted to say, I know we've talked about crash landings, you and I, before. So, that's my favorite way a song can end. Now, we jump to the beginning of the song, which is where we really should start. You hear this enthusiastic guy at a party. You hear this ambiance of people chatting and whatnot at a party. And again, this enthusiastic guy is like, hey man, how's it going, bro? Like, did you hear about the party? Oh, did you want a beer? And if you really, really listen, it's actually kind of hard to hear. You hear the other guy just kind of going, yeah, sure. Uh-huh. Like that kind of stuff. It's hard to hear, but if you have headphones on, I think one's in the right, one's in the left. The very first time I heard this song, I believe I had it in headphones because I was mowing the lawn while I was listening to this for the very first time. The whole Blue album. And when this, I just remember the time, the era that I was like, I'm going to check out Weezer. And that's what I was doing, mowing the lawn. In true white and nerdy fashion, they see me mowing. Anyways, so as I said, all white guys like Weezer, and if you don't, then I don't know, something wrong with you. Anywho's, so I'm listening to that going, wow, that really sounds like the last 5 years and the now of my life, because I was just out of high school.
Oh my goodness.
What?
You're talking about the extrovert versus the introvert represented two different like phases, brackets of your life?
No, but that's an interesting thought. I'd like to go there. We can go there in a moment. That's a really cool thought. What I was trying to specify was the last 5 years of my life had been high school, and so many people, friends, acquaintances, whatever, in high school would invite me to things like that. And sometimes it was rare that I would actually go, because and it's, again, you used introvert, extrovert. It's not that I was introverted. I'm extremely extroverted. But as I also mentioned last week, I grew up in an environment amongst a lot of adult Christians who informed me very bluntly that drinking and smoking and everything in between is wrong, right?
Right.
And so when I'm 13, 14, 15, and so on, and I'm being offered to go to places where I know that's going to be happening, my instinct back then was to go, well, no, I can't. That's not a good choice, right?
Tricky, risky.
Yeah, and then certain people that I was really fond of, friend-wise, girls, whoever, they would be going to get-togethers, and I'd be like, well, if they're going to go, then I'll go with them, because I have enough of a connection with them. I know I'll be safe or comfortable, whatever.
Right.
And so, I went to a few things, and I had a lot of fun at these different things, but the one thing that I never did was drink alcohol or smoke anything, cigarette, marijuana, whatever, anything else. I would always say no. And so when I heard this song for the first time, I was like, wow, that really small sounding voice of the guy just going, yeah, all right. Like, that felt like me. Like, it was me in the song going like, oh, yeah, I guess. And I don't know, there's this weird, is it maybe called a juxtaposition where, yeah, I like being enthusiastic. I like bringing some life to a party, whatever. but I was always put out when I was offered stuff. And if I said no, and then it was like that peer pressure of like, oh, come on, man, like, come on, you gotta try it, you gotta do, and I'd always be like, now you've pissed me off because I said no, you know? And that's the kind of personality I had when I was a teenager, which makes me sound horrible, but it's just like, if my answer was no.
I don't know that it does, because a lot of my experiences, yeah, there was a little pressure, but for the most part, the people who were saying, oh, do you want a drink? Do you want to smoke weed? Do you want, a cigarette? And I would go, no, thank you. And they're like, okay, well, fuck you then, more for me. I never got that pushback. So, yeah, when you said that people would be like, oh, come on, then, yeah, I can see that being a little frustrating.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the validation, because, yeah, it was the fear I always had, growing up in late public school. You get lessons, at school, or you had PSA stuff on TV that was like, this is what peer pressure looks like. And I'd be like, oh, man, like, I don't want to go through that, So just have enough moral support, internal, whatever terms, to go, no, it's not for me, And some people were cool with it, but I had a lot of people at school, because I was the funny guy, they'd be like, I want to see Spencer drunk. I want to see Spencer high. And I'm like, aren't I fun or acceptable and fun to be around enough without it? Like, I don't, that's one thing I still stand by to this day, is I don't need any of that stuff to be fun or be energetic or,
Yeah.
Like, if anything, and truthfully, at age 33, yes, I've tried a cigarette. I think it's kind of gnarly. No offense to you. I know you smoke, but
hey, they're gnarly the first several times.
It's just nothing that I care to do. I've had to do it for acting purposes sometimes. Like in a short film, I remember I was like, I'll just do it for the film, but as soon as they say cut, I'm like,
Yeah, what, for a film, you didn't use tobacco, did you? Did you use an herbal?
I don't know. It was just a cigarette. Somebody was like, well, you need to be smoking in this shot, and we don't have prop, whatever. It wasn't pro level stuff, so somebody's just like, here, just toss this cigarette in your mouth and flick it when you're
that's
done
not
listening.
cool. Oh, man.
I was just like, whatever. Acting! Like, I was a thespian, whatever. So I just went ahead and did it. And I remember after that, we had scheduled at the high school a team dodgeball tournament that was going on, and me and a bunch of friends signed up to be in it. So we filmed this scene where I had just tried, technically, my first cigarette, and then I went and played dodgeball, and I felt like a train wreck.
I'm sure. Oh, my goodness.
My lungs felt like they were full of chemical. Like I was just like, oh, this is horrid. And it, it felt like a smokestack or something, like a furnace. And so that turned me off pretty good from it. And
I can see how it would.
Yeah, made an ass out of myself playing dodgeball, even more so than I would have originally. And the reason I brought all that up was just to say, yeah, I know what it is like. And yes, I've had social drinks and things like that as of now. I'll never forget the first time I sat down with my parents and some family friends, and the family friends had brought some alcoholic beverages, and my parents were each holding one, and I was kind of like, like, what? And they're like, it's okay to have stuff when you're of age, because I was about 18, I guess, at this point. And they were like, we didn't want you to, do it illegally or, all that kind of stuff, or have the potential during high school to get in trouble doing it. But they're like, you can have something socially. Of course you can. And I'm like, okay. And I know, yeah, there's going to be people who are like, what a dork. He always followed the rules his parents laid out for him. What a fucking loser. And it's like, yeah, I did. Like, yeah, I just mean choosing to go, that's not for me, this is for me. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, to go,
Right.
these are my standards, these are my limits, whatever.
Yeah, and most people do get their set of values from their parents. It's like, no, I'm not necessarily, mama's boy or a daddy's boy or whatever, but they teach you the values and why they're their values, and some people just agree with their parents.
Yeah. Well, then on the flip side, I never felt the urge to like rebel against that. I was never like, fuck you, mom and dad, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Like, I didn't have that feeling. I don't even understand that feeling, because I'm like, why would I want to do something that ultimately is going to disappoint them, So I was like,
Right.
I just was never that kind of guy. And I made that pretty clear to everybody in high school of like, I'll come to your event, but don't try to like shotgun me a beer or put a funnel in my mouth and force feed me nothing but sauerkraut until I'm 26 and a half years old. Sorry. I just said funnel in my mouth and I had to go there. The listeners can, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And you'll know eventually if you keep listening to the show. So, anyway, spoiler.
Anyway.
Disguised spoiler. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'll come to your thing and hang out, but, if it gets too rowdy and I'm uncomfortable, then I'm probably going to leave, And then you have the second part of the song where the girl is now saying like, hey, I need a ride because I want to go to the other thing that is happening after this event. I forget the exact wording. She's like, did you hear about the party or something? I want to go, but my friends don't. Like, can I get a ride? I remember that vibe was even harder because if it was a cute girl or a girl I had a straight up crush on that was like, hey, I'm going to go to this thing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay, I would love to go with her, but am I now like obligated to do the opposite of what I would normally do? It felt even more peer pressure-y. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where all I'm saying is if a girl was saying, hey, are you going to that? Because if you are, let's go together. And depending on what that was, a party or whatever, dance, big. I remember one that was out at like this big barn out in the country, and all that was being talked about was like, everyone's going to get so drunk. And I'm like, okay, like, good for all of you. Yeah, I'm not trying to judge, but I've never seen the appeal, like when somebody tells a story and they're like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and I was so drunk. I'm like, am I supposed to applaud you? Or like, what do you, like, what do you want? Like,
As a drinker, I feel like it's mostly an excuse.
Yeah.
Which
it comes across that way.
speaks for itself. Like it's not a brag. I guess at some point in life, if someone is proud that they have rebelled, I suppose in that adolescent stage, that it could be a brag. But for the most part, as a grown ass drinker, the second the words come out of my mouth, I was super drunk. It's an apology.
Oh. Then you should say sorry.
That's true. That's true. And, at some point, I'm sorry will probably come out of my mouth. But when I say it's, more of an apology, it's also, can be an explanation for why I did something stupid. Because I'm not telling the person I'm sorry to. Sometimes I'm sorry to myself.
Sure. Okay.
I screwed up.
Okay. Because, yeah, and this might be one of the first episodes where I sound like a real stick in the mud or like you said last week, an asshole. Because for me, I'm like, I'd rather hear a story where someone's like, oh, I did this really stupid thing totally by choice and blah, blah, blah. Because when they go, I was so drunk, I'm like, oh, okay, so your actions came from an inability to control yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, okay, if I do something totally stupid, I decided to do it. Like, and I'm like,
That's right. Own those poor life choices.
well, I'm like, oh, so a poor life choice led to, or is an excuse for the following poor life choice. Like,
Right.
Whereas I'm like, no, I like took a baseball bat to someone's mailbox totally sober. Like, like that type of thing where because I wanted to fuck up that person's mailbox. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Cool. Appreciate that you don't drink, Spencer.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean? What are you trying to say?
Well, when I destroy people's property, it's because I wanted to, and was a normal level of anger. Let's not just pour alcohol over that situation and light it up like Cherry's Jubilee, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean. There's going to be many different viewpoints of it, but it's like, for me, I just go, if I did something stupid, I'm going to own, like, yeah, I was pissed off, or I wanted to be funny in front of everybody, but I don't need the influence of some other substance in order to make those choices.
Right.
So I don't know if that ultimately makes me sound worse than people who drink, or what. Seems like that might be being implied, but I don't know.
Yeah, it could go either way.
I just, admittedly, yeah, if it makes me a hypocrite, then I'll learn something new about myself and try to fix that. But for me, I'm just like, the excuse of, oh, I was so drunk, always just sounds like, oh, just do stuff without having that filter, But anyways, again, I'm not judging, because I like I say, I've been around many other things in my lifetime now where I've partaken in it and just chilled and hit my limit when I go, all right. Because actually, when I do drink, I get very sleepy. So I actually become very unenthusiastic and not fun to be around. I'm just like, I'm tired. That's it. So.
Yeah, well, the results of drinking do tend to be one of the 7 dwarfs.
Yeah, right. That's an excellent point. How do you become Doc when you're...
Dealing? Being the bartender?
Huh. A drunk
I don't
bartender?
know. No idea.
All the other ones make sense.
Yeah.
But I immediately went, how do you become Doc? Because he's the only one that's not an adjective. So. But yes, no, I definitely become sleepy, And yeah, I've seen people who become grumpy and happy and dopey. Yeah. Bashful, I guess, maybe. Sneezy might be the other one that's kind of hard. Somebody becomes sneezy when they're drunk. Yeah, that's just annoying.
I don't know.
I prefer just to be Snow White.
Aww.
Whistle while I work.
Fairest in all the land.
I don't know. Or maybe I'm the witch. I have no idea. Everybody stop having fun. I don't know. Yeah, I knew this was going to be an interesting topic because it has its potentials to make me sound hypocritical and judgmental and stuff, but I don't carry those feelings with me. I just know my personal limits, right? And all I can do is speak to that. But
right.
To wrap up the subject matter of the song, the chorus really hits me with the whole, if you want to destroy my sweater, hold this thread while I walk away. Watch it unravel, I'll soon be naked. Lying on the floor, I've come undone. You probably get the symbolism there.
My interpretation of it, anyway, because you say, do you get the symbolism? And it's like, no, I don't necessarily know what the writer meant. But if you want to try and fuck up something for me, bye. I'm going to leave you behind and leave you with whatever gratification you think you need, because for the most part, if you're trying to screw me over just to screw me over, you don't need anything more than to just stand there and feel like you've accomplished it while I'm gone. I'm a dot. Bye.
That's interesting. Yeah, I appreciate that take. It's not far from mine. Mine is the whole, the pressure that I was talking about of like, hey, you should drink, you should get high, you should do this, whatever, is like, that's the part of, if you want to destroy. And then my sweater, for me, the sweater is a comfort. The sweater to me represents my barrier, my limit, my shell, if you will, like if it's a turtle shell, you know what I mean? To go,
Yeah.
I'm wearing, yes, I'm at your event, but I'm clearly wearing this sweater, quotation marks, that is supposed to symbolize this is my comfort level. But if you want to destroy that, then, like you said, I'll walk away and you can hold the thread. And it's like kind of this, are you satisfied? You know, because then I'm naked, and meaning I'm now exposed. And I guess for me, that always represented, I wish I'd get invited to things because people wanted to know the authentic me, not I want to see drunk or high Spencer, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could show up, and again, this is all metaphorical. This is going to sound kind of silly, but it's like, I could show up, quote, naked without the sweater and go, hey, I'm here, I'm me. I didn't wear this sweater because I know that I'm accepted for who I am when I show up here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah. But it occurs to me also that we might have different ideas of how long it takes the unraveling to happen. Because it's specifically the way that I broke down what it means to me versus what you're talking about is like, hold this thread, I'm going to walk away. Dude gets all the way to naked. I feel like that's... I guess I can be a little bit of a concrete thinker.
Mm-hmm.
But my general assumption is that if you're going to have someone hold on to a thread of a sweater and walk while it unravels, you're like 4 blocks away.
Well, yeah.
They don't even get to see you naked.
Sure.
But again, it's because I'm too much of a concrete thinker. In the metaphor, the way you frame it in your thinking,
Mm-hmm.
is it something of closer proximity?
Sort of, yeah. Just hold this thread while I walk away. I don't know. Maybe it's not that different because you're right. It would take a little while for it to be totally unraveled and leave you naked. So it's kind of like I've left the party where I was feeling the peer pressure, because it's like, I guess if you want to destroy my comfort level, then here, hold this. I'm going to leave. I'm probably like you said, 4 blocks away. And now that I am away from it all, I feel like I can now be more my authentic self and not have to wear the sweater at the party, you know, or whatever it is. It's like,
Cool.
I feel like I can be myself authentically more when I've walked away, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Does that kind of track with what you were trying to say?
Sorta. Yeah, it matches up with what you were saying about how our perspectives, while different, were actually pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because, I mean, the title of the song is Undone, and then in parentheses, the sweater song. So when he finally says, I'll soon be naked lying on the floor, I've come undone, to me, the whole coming undone was always being your authentic self. That's what I always took it as.
Huh.
And yeah, I really kind of, I guess you could say, struggled with that growing up as a teenager, going, well, I'm at home, I'm undone. Like I'm looser and I'm more authentically me when I'm at home or when I'm with certain people. And then on the flip side, you know, let me bring this into the mix. We'll see where this takes us. And then I want to hear your specific story too. For me, having grown up going to high school with people who just simply I knew through high school, as well as having people I knew through youth groups at 2 different churches, here's my biggest struggle that I had when I was a teenager. Everybody at school wanted me to be drunk, high, party animal Spencer because they saw the humor that I displayed at school. Everybody in youth group and that realm of people thought that I, as my authentic self, was too crazy. And it was always, you need to settle down. You need to stop trying to be so hyper. And, I was just trying to make people laugh and be funny.
Mm-hmm.
But even, youth group leaders and other kids were always like, we're here at church to like talk about the Bible and stuff. You don't always have to be like this. And I'm like, I'm just trying to have fun while I'm here. You know what I mean? Wasn't trying to be disrespectful. It was more, I felt like if I'm in the presence of God, I should be able to be myself,
You think, yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot of that turned me off from that ballpark. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was this tear. So kind of like what you were saying earlier about the introvert, the extrovert, it was like, what the hell group do I settle for being a part of who are going to accept me for who I am, whether I go, no thanks, that's my limit, or, hey, I'm here, I'm me, and then, hey, shut up and settle down. It was just this weird paradox. I don't know. It really bothered me.
Yeah, it's a shame that huge difference were the primary two options that you had.
Kinda, yeah. Yep. So, yeah, it was a struggle until the people at youth group started drinking. Then that was a whole other thing.
Oh, okay. Charming.
Yeah. Then I was like, wait a sec. Yeah, that was...
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. I'm sure we'll visit that in a future episode with a different song. But while we were listening to it, you had a reaction that seemed to evoke some kind of story for you.
Yeah, I can't remember the specific reaction during the song, but I did...
You kind of chuckled and went, all right.
Oh my goodness, yes, what was that? At some point in the song, it was just undone. It was just one of those notes that you're like, holy crap, dude.
Oh.
Are you done?
Oh, he held the note for Undone. Yeah.
But in a specifically, I'm going to go ahead and say obnoxious way.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's funny about this song to me, and this is why I asked if you remembered my reaction in the original 500, is because you even said it was lower on the 500 list. So I was probably still Marissa level, right? So I'm probably like, oh, that's nice, Spencer. Okay.
Yeah.
But man, I got a little bit into this song and I was like, oh my God, this kind of song actually exists. So once upon a time, we had last episode, we talked about Dave, which was my first date. And then there was my first, I don't know, brief thing, relationship-ish, of occasional, I don't know what it was, I guess, first boyfriend. Later in high school, he called me one day and asked if he could play a song for me that he wrote.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, sure. And he did. And at some point, I started to think that I was being pranked.
Oh, yeah. I recall this story from another time, but yeah. Yeah. But they haven't heard it, so.
How long is it going to be? Why is it the same boring-ass series of notes again and again and again? Where's the verse versus the chorus, and like what's happening? It was just not good.
Right. Huh. Interesting.
And when he stopped, and it was so long too. It was a lot longer than this.
Oh.
But when he finished, he was like, "What did you think?" And I was like, And I did. I think I actually said, what? I mean, were you joking? Because I always have this thing, right, where I'm like, do I play into it and let them be like, ha, gotcha, and then go, well, no, you didn't, but I just didn't want to be a jerk.
Right.
So instead, I go ahead and be the accidental asshole, and I'm like, were you like, you were kidding, right? Ha. And he's like, no. What?
Yeah.
Shit.
Right.
Sorry, bro. See you tomorrow.
So hold on. You brought that story up because
this song reminded me of that shit. I'm sorry.
Of him doing that? Oh. So,
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
This is a no bueno for me. It felt a little droney.
Oh, interesting. Because you said that you got into it. You used that term a few minutes ago.
Oh, once we got into it, like once we were 2 minutes or so into it.
Yeah.
Is what I meant.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you were enjoying the song, but in fact you don't care for this song that much is what you're just saying.
Correct, Mundo.
Okay. Interesting.
Sorry, but 'tis what it is.
Yeah. Well, hey, you played Nickelback for me, which is basically like shoving bamboo steamers under my fingernails, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think you owe me a couple of clunkers for that one.
A couple? Oh. Yeah, you're saying Nickelback is so fucking bad that I get like 10 songs that are rough.
Oh yeah, payback's a bitch.
Yeah. Well, interesting. And I know it's not because you think negatively of Weezer. It's just, yeah. And I admit, this song is, and I say these things with respect because I enjoy the song. It's sloppy. Like, I would use the word sloppy to describe the entire song. But that's what I like about it. It's kind of garage band feel to it, and that adds to that authentic aspect that I relate to, you know?
Yeah, and it probably also fed into, subconsciously at least a little bit, listening to that dude with his guitar droning at me over the phone.
Sure. And so that's what I relate to about it, is like this raw feeling. And then to revisit the ending, which I call a crash landing, all of the sounds that happen there, if you or the listener, it doesn't sound like you'll be going back to this one, but if anybody wants to go, if anybody wants to go back and listen to the way those sounds sound at the end, to me, that's like how I felt anytime I left these parties and just felt like breaking down slowly. I don't mean crying per se, but just like body.
It does very much match the embodiment of the word undone.
Yeah. You're just walking, you've walked away, they've held the thread, you're now naked at home, and I should be saying I statements instead of your statements, but you get it. Like, I've left the party, they're holding my thread, I've become naked, I'm undone, and all that slamming, crashing, and pounding of the piano was like the frustration and the deflation and all of that, and then just, it's like I could crash down in my bed and be like, gosh, I don't know who I should be hanging out with.
Decompression phase.
Yeah. And then I love that the very last thing is that little like drop kind of thing, and it's like it almost sounds happy and hopeful, like just a smidgen, Mm-hmm. So those are all the things that I like about it. And yeah, I get where you're coming from. Of if that's how the song made you feel, then yeah. It's too bad we can't add this dude's song to your playlist.
Oh my god.
He never released it, eh?
I doubt it.
Yeah, obviously. Thank God by the sounds of it. So that's everything I have to say about Undone, the Sweater Song by Weezer. And it's okay that you're not a huge fan of it. It is in the bottom, 15 or so of this whole list. So no hardcore feelings are hurt on that.
Yes.
But I think the takeaway for anybody listening should be just be your authentic self and don't conform. don't feel pressured to conform and fit into whatever category people are trying to get you to fit into. Because if you're not the missing puzzle piece, then that's fine. You know what I mean?
Just be you. And if you get a loose thread on something and you're a smoker, burn it with your lighter and it will make it stop unraveling.
Oh, yeah, then you can just stay in your sweater the whole time. Lots of ways you could take the metaphor. Oh, my goodness. If you have a story about a time where you felt pressured or you felt unaccepted or like you were struggling to fit in and you're comfortable sharing it. Yeah.
Or that one time when you were just so drunk.
Yeah, but I will probably read your story like, one time I was so drunk. If any of that applies to you, Ripley, tell them where they can send an email to.
HeartATrackPodcast at gmail.com.
Correct. Yeah. And we can... That was your first time plugging the email, and you got it right. So I did the little game show bell. The vibe for next week's episode is going to be maybe how you feel about the news, just in general.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm a complicated person and I have complicated songs, but it'll be an interesting one. I know it's an artist that you get a kick out of. You've told me that you enjoy this artist, but
excellent.
They can get deep sometimes when it comes to their opinions on the world. So think about that, news and the state of the world at whatever point in time you want to address that. Doesn't matter. Could be current, could be when you were a kid, anywhere in between. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And we'll catch everybody on episode 10. All right. We'll see everybody next time.